Propane Pete here, and quite some time ago I posted a video up on my channel called Setting Up a Tiny Workshop. The intention was to record some of the work I do in my tiny workshop, but I didn't get around to it. But that's all changed today. I'm currently heading up to our friend's rural property, about 150 kilometres from here, up in the hills. They're away at the moment, but I have a key. About 10 years ago, their son moved away to interstate, and he left his little 1995 Daihatsu Charade there. And it got driven around for a little while, but it's been unregistered now for about 3 years, and it's just sitting there unused, and it's deteriorating. The car has been in the family for decades, and they're very concerned that it's just going to deteriorate and rot away. So to avoid that, they've given the car to me. They've gifted it to me, which was quite a surprise, and it actually happened to be my 75th birthday when they did this. So I'm very appreciative. So the idea is to get this little car sorted out, back on the road again, registered, safe. So it's still a couple of hours drive up there. It's raining heavily up in the hills, fog, narrow, windy roads. So we'll see you up there, and we'll check out this little car. Just before we cut to that, let's have a quick look at the history of these little cars. The Daihatsu Charade began life in 1977 as a Japanese super mini class car, which are a little bit bigger than the minute kei cars. The series finally ended in 2013 after various transformations. During that 36-year period, there were several variants of body styles, names, and engines ranging from the tiny 1-litre 3-cylinder engine to 1.5 litre and 1.6 litre engines. And there were carburetor and fuel injection versions, and also turbocharging. A diesel was also available for a while. There was the 5-speed manual gearbox, a 4-speed manual in China, an automatic option, and a really sporty GTI version was also built but never made it to Australia. The Charade ran regularly in several major rallies around the world, the East Africa Safari, the Monte Carlo Rally, and it did really well in its class, chalking up many wins and places, and seldom had mechanical problems. The car sold in an amazing number of countries in its range of variants and names. It sold all over Europe and the UK, the Balkans countries, some of the Scandinavian countries, Greece, in fact it was assembled in Greece. It sold right throughout Asia and South America. It was built in South Africa as well, and was very popular in Australia, and they were also assembled in New Zealand. The Chinese built a copy, named it their Tianjin Ixali, and sold 1.5 million of them, and they were for some years the most popular taxi on Beijing streets. Taiwan also built a copy, and Indonesia assembled them in Jakarta. The Charade was the car of the year in Japan in 1979. Daihatsu tested the US market in 1988, but not surprisingly it flopped and was discontinued in 1992 after only 50,000 sales. The car was simply too small and underpowered for the Americans. The Charade was on the BBC show Top Gear in 1993 and given the thumbs up. And these days the car has a popular worldwide following through various Daihatsu car clubs. There's an active Daihatsu club here in Australia where you can hunt up spare parts, have a chat with fellow members, and follow people doing restorations. So there's a lot of global history behind these cars, and you still see them getting around. Okay, this is what it was all about, coming up here 150 k's up into the hills here. Check out our friend's little 1995 Daihatsu Charade, 3-cylinder engine, 1 litre. No turbo. It's a carburetor. Oh, it could be fuel injected, but most likely carburetor. I'll have a look at that later, work that out. And this little car has been unregistered for 2 years, I think. So it'll need an inspection, get it up to roadworthy standards, get a certificate, and then get it re-registered, and then get it back in the workshop again and just go right through it. So initially I'll need to see what I need to do to pass a safety certificate. So anyway, let's have a look at it and get the pen and paper out and make a list. Let's see if it runs. The engine sounds fine. It looks really neat here under the bonnet. That little yellow sticker says the timing bolt was last changed in 2012. So obviously that will have to be changed. Gosh, look at this interior. This is going to come up really well. Just needs a clean, a little bit of attention here and there. Gee, this car's been really well looked after actually. Up until today, I'd only briefly glimpsed this car once, about 3 years ago, and I'd completely forgotten about it. And I thought I'd be doing a full restoration, but no, look at this. The bodywork's fine. Bit of clay barring, a cut and polish, and yeah. And look at this, no rust in the spare wheel well. I had a look underneath the car earlier, and there doesn't appear to be any rust under there either. Okay, let's take this little beastie for a run. Notice cold. Oh, seatbelt's way back there. It runs, it moves. Very light clutch. It's funny. No power steering, of course. Whoa, what is that? That's not good. Let's go back. Let's check that out. Better check that out, eh? Let's have a look at this, what this noise is. That wasn't a good start. Old cars. We'll see. The grinding noise seemed to come from the right-hand front area, so I removed the right-hand front wheel to investigate. Everything looked fine, but the car hasn't moved for a long time, and there was quite a bit of surface rust on the rotor, so possibly stuck brake pads. Also, the sliders and caliper piston may have frozen up as well. I checked the left side and it was the same. Hello again. Well, I'm on my way home after checking out that Charade, the little Charade, and that car is a little gem. I've taken to it straight away. It's very cute, and I'm looking forward to getting it back on the road again. So, the car, what's it like? Well, from what I can see, the big advantage is there doesn't seem to be any rust anywhere, and that's a big plus. Trying to restore a rusty car is just hard work, and the other big plus is that it runs. It doesn't run very well, but it does run, and I'll get that sorted out anyway. It'll be running sweet after a while. So I'll do the costings tonight on getting this car back on the road, and I'll add that onto the back of this video early tomorrow morning. So we'll see you early tomorrow morning, or early tomorrow morning my time anyway. So we'll see you then. Just kidding. It's not really 4:30 in the morning. It's been years since I've been up at that time, and I have no plans to do it in the future. I used to do it quite a bit. Anyway, as you've seen, I've been up to our friend's property up in the hills to check out this little Charade, and it's pretty obvious I've taken a shine to this cute little car. But when considering bringing an unregistered old car back to life, restore it again back to a roadworthy condition, you have to be very careful. You have to park your enthusiasm over there, step back and think about it all. Very often, the owners of old cars aren't aware of the true mechanical condition of their cars, and they let it expire. Oh, well, let's get it registered again and get it back on the road. Take it to the local garage, who's also a licensed inspection station, and then they get a huge shock when they get a bill, or not a bill, a quote, to get the car back on the road, and it's in the four-figure bracket, sometimes $4,000 or $5,000, and they're thinking in $400 and $500 terms, and that's when these cars tend to get put in a paddock and rust away, forgotten, abandoned. I had to think carefully about doing this project. Could I justify the expense, or should I just thank our friends and their son for their very generous offer of a free car, but reluctantly have to decline and leave the car where it is to an uncertain future? It was very touch and go with the decision to continue or not, but I obviously did continue to go with it. So we'll have a look at all the cost estimates on my spreadsheet here on my iPad, and just why I did decide to continue with this little car. Well, there are three cost groups. Let me get these up. The first is the retrieval of the car, and that works out to $450. The second is the known or other known fixed costs, that's $760. So straight off the bat, that's $1,210 before I even lay a spanner on the car. And the third, the biggest group, is the parts at $2,095. So let's go through them. For the retrieval, I've tentatively booked a car trailer from Meteor Rentals for next week. You have to supply your own ratchet straps, tie-down ratchet straps. So I've bought 4 of those the other day from Bunnings. So $75 for those, and that was my first expense, first of many. I'm still looking at a suitable tow vehicle. It has to be a proper four-wheel drive vehicle with low range. Their access track is very tricky, on a funny angle. There's a creek, there's ditches, it's on an upslope, it's off-cambered, there's a corner, and it's always wet up there and slippery. And a rental all-wheel drive SUV with street tyres wouldn't have a hope of reversing this heavy dual axle car trailer up that slope. None at all. Has to be a proper four-wheel drive. What else have we got? The second group is the fixed costs of $750, which comprises of the safety inspection, registration, CTP insurance, basic accident insurance, and the TMR fees. The third group is the parts list of $2,095. So this was 4 new tyres, as the tyres on the car range from 12 years old to 16 years old, and the maximum age limit for cars here for a safety inspection is 10 years regardless of condition. Then there's 2 new front brake calipers, new rotors and pads. The rear brakes are drums, so that's new shoes, drums machine, 2 new wheel cylinders. Replace the burned out muffler and intermediate pipe, a new CV boot. Replace the cracked taillight lenses. The timing belt is 12 years old, so a new timing belt and tensioner. Auxiliary drive belt, radiator hoses, heater hoses, filters. Replace the brake fluid, replace the coolant, new spark plugs, new wiper blades. Replace the brittle fuel and vacuum hoses, new rocker cover gasket. Fix some tail light and indicator electrical issues, and there's several other incidentals as well. There's also a small stone chip right in the driver's vision, so a possible expensive repair required there too. What else am I doing? I'm also changing the engine oil and gearbox oil from mineral-based to full synthetic. The car does have a full service record and it's been well looked after, but from the record and the last service date sticker, it seems the last service might have been 12 years ago, because the car's been sitting around a lot, even though it's been started and run and moved around the property, which has been good. So even though the car runs, it needs a lot of attention. Those 3 cost groups, let's have a look at this spreadsheet, bring the total to get this car back on the road at $3,305, quite a bit. So is it worth it? Well, this is the worst case cost scenario, and I'm pretty confident I can knock that down a bit. I'm pretty sure if I went right through those brakes, dismantle them all, clean them up, get them all functioning properly again, I don't think I need to buy any parts here. I think it'll come up okay. That'd be a cost saving of $710. I also measured the windscreen crack, and I'm pretty sure it's within limits, so that would be a further saving of $240 there. That combined with savings on the brakes is $950 off, which would bring it down to $2,355 to complete this car. But I'm going to be on the safe side. I'm going to stay with the $3,305, as there's always surprises with old cars. And also, keep in mind that I'm a qualified motor mechanic, former mechanic, so there's no labour costs here. And I actually gave myself a quote if this was a commercial workshop, and it came out to $5,300. Most people would stop right there, and that'd be the end of the car. So you can see why old cars disappear if the owners let the registrations expire. I decided to go ahead with this project because that figure is around the current market price for these old cars. As long as they're in good condition, there's no rust, good interior, no body damage, they're registered, they have a safety certificate, and there's no work to do. So worst case scenario, I could recover my costs if I really needed to. If the estimate had gone beyond that, I would not have gone ahead with this project. So with that said, it'll be interesting to see how the actual costs compare with my spreadsheet here, and I hope no issues crop up. So if you're the sort of person that likes to see old cars given a second life, then follow me through this series of short videos. So the next video, hopefully, will be next week, retrieving the car from the property. And as I said earlier, it's always raining up there, so I reckon it's an 80% chance I'm going to get soaked next week. So yeah. So anyway, hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.